Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Roboquest going for the Muscle plus 4000 achievement. This is to reach level 15 in a single run. Going to recommend you hold off on this until you get all of the power crystals, thereby unlocking most of the locked doors. Hop into the game. The perk that you get for free at the beginning, if you have that workshop upgrade, is not going to count as a level up, so make sure you just get whatever perk you get, but that's not going to help you out with the achievement anyway. Grab your starting loadout and make sure you get into the game. Now, in order to gain levels, you're going to need to gain XP. To gain XP, you're going to need to kill enemies. So the name of the game is to try to get to the end of the game, killing the most enemies possible, and that's going to mean being as thorough as you can and taking the longest path to get to the end of the game. So make sure you try to kill every single enemy you see. You are mostly going to want to prioritize those XP pinatas, who are going to be those enemies that move across the rails. Make sure you kill those guys, as they're going to have the biggest XP drops outside of bosses. And then just make sure you try to kill every single red dot you see on your mini map. Level 2 should come no problem when you are in the starting combat area in Canyons. You are going to definitely want to try to take out all of the enemies in front of the bonus corrupted zones. However, you do not have to actually do the bonus corrupted zones, as for the most part, they don't really have any enemies inside. Once you get to the safe room in Canyons, you're going to have that three-way fork where you decide what your level 2 is going to look like. You're going to want to head down the Ruins path, which is going to require that you have the Ruins key. This is going to be the path that has the most enemies available to you and is going to be the longest path before the three paths coalesce with one another. Make your way down this path, and along the way, you should be good for level 3. So make sure you grab that level up and make sure you get to the end level door and actually get to the actual Ruins level. Now, you are going to have to play Ruins in a very specific way in order to extend your run even further. So make sure you start out in the starting room as you were. Make sure you grab your loadout and all that stuff. Then you're going to want to head into the first combat area. Make sure you take out all of the enemies here and then head into the next room. This is going to be a horde mode room. Make sure you survive the gauntlet. And then after this, you're going to head into the next open world combat area. Once you are there, you're going to do the typical thing where you try to take out every single enemy you can. So make sure you just take out all of the red dots. It's going to be in this room where you want your pace to be at the point where you hit level 4 here. So once you take care of that, we're going to continue clearing the rest of the area. Make sure you do not step through the door that takes you to the next safe room. Instead, what you want to do is you want to make sure you head over to the orange shaded secret area. There's also going to be a bunch of enemies here that you're going to definitely want to clear out, as more enemies means more XP. So make sure you clear the lots, and then we're going to stay in this area, as there's going to be an alternative route that we can take. So you can either use the buttons to turn off the lasers, or if you are lazy or more daring, just dash through them and tank the damage, as we're going to need to head over to the scrapyard in order to extend our run. You can grab a perk off of the dead body if you have the data log already. Again, just like the free perk, this one's not going to count as a level up, so might as well grab it, but it's not going to help you out with the achievement. There's also going to be an extra chest here, which is usually going to have a weapon, but the more important thing is we're going to head over to scrapyard to get an extra level to extend our run. Grab your starting loadout here and make sure you get into the level. The level itself is going to be pretty linear, few combat zones, and then a boss fight. Along the way, you should be good to hit level 5 somewhere in this level, so make sure you grab that to stay on pace, and then make sure you get over to the boss fight, and then make sure you defeat the gang of elites. This is going to be our first boss. Remember, the bosses are going to be the biggest form of XP drops, so make sure you do take advantage the best you can. Once you wrap that up, it's time to move on to the next level, which is going to be Fields. Alright, so Fields is going to, again, be pretty straightforward for the first part. Grab your starting loadout, get into the combat zone, make it to the safe room, try to be as thorough as possible, including taking out all of the enemies in front of the bonus corrupted zone. You should get your level 6 somewhere around here if you are staying on pace. Then it's going to be off to the safe room. Once you are in here, you are going to want to have the tech room open. And the reason for that is we're going to take this path right here, which is going to take us through the Doom Gardens. This door is going to normally be locked behind a thing that requires 25 power cells to open, but if you did that on a previous playthrough, it should remain open for any subsequent playthrough. Whatever the case, make sure you head into Doom Gardens. This is going to be a speed run level. However, unlike the other two, there isn't going to be a bomb you need to defuse. So what you can do is you can hang back and try to pick off all the enemies from far away. Just let the timer run out, as once it runs out, you actually aren't going to fail the level. It's just going to lock the door that would lead to the power crystal that you would get. However, probably now by this point you have that power crystal already, so it's not going to really matter to you since that has no bearing on your XP. Just make sure you make it to the end and try to kill as many enemies as you can, and then go to this alternate door, which is going to take you to the alternative entrance to Aqua Station. Once you are here, make sure you drop down, and then make sure you take this path right here, which is going to end up taking you to the Aqua Station safe room. Once you are here, we're going to head up the ramp after we get our loadout. You're going to have a choice right here whether or not to go to the Fusion Core or Energy Center as your next level. It shouldn't really matter since they have about the same amount of enemies, so just make sure you pick whatever one you're comfortable with. The right path is going to go down to the Fusion Core. The left path is going to go to the Energy Center. Just make sure you pick one. Plenty of enemies to go down either way. And along the way, you should be good for your next level, which should put you at level 7 if you are keeping pace. And then eventually you should get into the next level. For this particular run, we're going to go with Energy Center, but again, you can go down Fusion Core if you want, but it's going to be pretty much the same nonetheless. Just make sure you grab your starting loadout, get into the level, and then try to be as thorough as you can with the enemies. Both levels are going to be pretty linear, so just make sure you try your best to take out everyone the best you can. You should hit level 8 somewhere during these levels, and then eventually once you get to the safe room of said level, make sure you grab your stuff. If you're doing Energy Center, it's not going to matter which elemental path is open, since again they probably contain around the same amount of enemies. Just make sure you are thorough either way. Get through the various combat and horde mode rooms, and along the way you should be good for level 9 if you are keeping pace. Then we're going to end with a boss fight either way, defeat the boss, and then both paths are going to end up taking you to Haven City. So make sure you grab whatever XP the boss is going to dish out, and then it's going to be on to Haven City, which is going to be one big giant open world city. Grab your starting loadout and make sure you get into the city. The main goal of the level is to defeat the 4 mini bosses. However, there's going to be a ton of enemies around. You should be good for plenty of levels along the way, including hitting level 10 as well as level 11. Try your best to kill everything. There are going to be the little security camera guys who are going to be very missable, so try to get them because every bit of XP is going to count for this. But once you are done here, there's no boss fight to worry about, so it's going to be straight to District 13. Another side note, the secret book item that you may pull from the item shop is going to give you a perk. This will also not count as a level up, so unfortunately that will not help you with the achievement if you do find one. Side note over, we're going to head into the actual level. This is going to be another big open level that's going to have 2 objectives we have to do. We're going to need to clear out the 2 bonus corrupted zones, but there's going to be a ton of enemies in front of both doors and in the middle of the level as well as the exit. Make sure you try to clean up shop. You should be good for hitting level 12 and then level 13 shortly after that, as there's going to be a ton of enemies. This level is going to end with a boss fight, so make sure you are prepared for this. But again, bosses are going to be a great source of XP, so make sure you defeat this accordingly, and then that should put you at a high level 13 going into the last level, which is going to be Moon. This is going to be about where you want to be in order to hit level 15 before the game ends. So Moon is going to consist of 2 horde mode rooms and 2 boss fights, so you have that to work with for your last couple of levels or so. So you should be good for level 14 in the first horde mode room, and you should be good for level 15 by the end of the second horde mode room. So try your best to power through the enemies. It is going to be tough. After all, it is going to be the last level, and you should be good for level 15 after the onslaught that is the second room of Moon. If for whatever reason you still don't have level 15 but are super close, you should be able to get it during one of the 2 phases of the final boss, hopefully. And if you happen to squeeze all 15 levels in a single run, you should be good for the achievement. There it is. It's going to be for 10 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.